Two plumbers in the same suburb running businesses that are functionally identical. One is pulling $5,000 a month from their Google Maps profile. The other is pulling closer to $50,000 every single month from the same listing type. The gap comes down to 5 specific things on their profile. If you've ever looked at a competitor in the pin 3 and thought, hey, their service isn't much different from mine, they seem to be getting all the calls, these 5 factors are the answer. I'll show you what each one looks like on a 5K listing and what it looks like on a 50K listing, and the specific edit that closes the gap for each of the 5. Open up your profile in another tab or on your phone while you watch, and by the end, you'll know which of the 5 is your bottleneck. We've ranked hundreds of local service businesses across plumbing, roofing, electrical, locksmiths, garage door repair. Almost no top-ranked listing has all 5 running, because even fixing one is usually going to double your inbound call volume inside of just a 60-day period. The reason this is so important is because the math on this is brutal. A typical local service business runs around a 20 to 30% net margin on revenue, so the gap between a 5K listing and a 50K listing is $45,000 a month. That is going to be $10,000 to $15,000 a month in net profit going to your competitor every single month instead of you, just because their listing is set up a little bit better than yours. Over a year, that's $120,000 to $180,000 in profit going straight to your competitors who have the exact same setup, same vehicles, same suburbs, same crew. Factor 1 is your business name. This is the factor that most business operators have wrong, and it's the simplest one to check. Open your Google business profile right now and look at the name field in the top of the listing. The 5K version has the name as something like ABC Plumbing Limited or John Smith Plumbing Services, the full legal entity, exactly as it sits on company registration. Clean, professional, and completely invisible for someone searching a plumber in their suburb. The 50K version has the exact service they want to target in the business name. So think of John's Dallas Plumbers, Dallas Plumber Co, or something like Apex Plumbing, Hot Water Heaters Dallas. The legal entity exists in the background, but the registered trading name on the Google business profile matches a keyword a customer is looking for. The reason this works so well is because the Google algorithm has no clean way to tell whether they're searching for a specific service or if they're searching for a specific business. So whenever someone is searching for something like Dallas Plumber, for example, Google is going to look for businesses that clearly signal to Google they have that, and having that in your name is the cleanest way to go. So a registered name that happens to match the keyword sits in both pools of intent at once. Google can't separate them, and the listing with the name pulls traffic from both queries simultaneously. Branded search and people looking for a service. The 50K listing knows this, and they've built their registered names around it with DBAs. The 5K listing still have their LLC name on the profile because nobody told them they were allowed to change it. Like I said, the edit is a simple DBA, a doing business as. It's a registered trading name that sits next to the parent company, government issued, indexed in public registry, and costs about $50 depending on your state. Google accepts the DBA filing as documentation if the listing ever gets flagged for manual review. Update the business name on the profile, submit the documentation if it gets flagged, and the change usually goes live within 24 to 72 hours. If you want to diagnose this for yourself, type your primary service into Google. Let's say Water Restoration Dallas, for example. Look at the 3-pin listings, and if at least 2 of the 3 have a mix of either the location, Dallas, or the service name that you're wanting to rank for, Water Restoration, it likely means that you are going to need to get a DBA. The expected lift on these is normally pretty large. We've seen rankings move from position 7 to even be number 1, number 3 within a 2-day period. The example I use here is we had a restoration client in LA go from position 13 to top 1 inside 14 days from just a single edit. Factor number 2 is review velocity. Pull up your listing and scroll to the review section. The dates on the most recent 5 reviews are the diagnosis. The 5K version, his most recent reviews are spread across the last 6 months with maybe only 5 to 10 and 1 a month on average. Total review count is going to be somewhere between 30 and 100 with an average rating around 4.5 to 4.7. The listing might have been around for a couple of years, but the review count only moves up 10 to 5% every year. The 50K version, the most recent reviews are dated inside the last 2 weeks, Total review count is north of 250, or at least 70% of what the top ranking competitor has, with an average rating of 4.7 to 4.9 stars. The reviews come in clusters, 5 or 6 in a single week, then a quiet stretch, then another cluster. The pattern looks unnatural to the casual eye, and it's exactly what Google reads as healthy and active. Big, large bulks can look suspicious. You see, Google reads 3 things about reviews: the total count, the review quality, and the review velocity. So how quickly do new reviews actually come in? Review velocity is what Google uses to determine if this is a real business that is naturally going up in reviews and working with more customers. A profile that goes from 1 new rating a fortnight to 15 in a week tells the algorithm that something has changed about this business, and the algorithm should probably recalibrate where it's sitting. The way that you can capitalize on this is a structured customer outreach push. What you want to do is take your CRM, pull all of your previous customers over the last 6 to 12 months, filter that list to anybody who you think might leave a negative review and leave them out. Take this list and enroll them in an email and SMS sequence over 14 days that is going to prompt them to leave new reviews. Now the trick here is you don't want to just ask them to leave a review, you want to ask them to include things like the service and area they had done. So responses want to come back similar to: had our hot water cylinder replaced in Hornsby, sorted within a couple hours, great service. Having the service term and the suburb both in the body of the review content is going to send the first signal to Google that this is a quality review. You operate in the area and you provide the service that you want to rank for. In this case, hot water cylinders. The way that you can tell if the reviews is a big issue on your profile is check how many reviews you've had in the last 90 days against your top competitors. If they have had 10% of their reviews come in within the last 90 days and you have only had, say, 2%, you're going to need to pick up your review speed. And furthermore, if those reviews on your profile are just great service, great team, versus a competitor's reviews who mention the area that they want their work in and the specific service, you know that you need to update your review quality. If you get this right, review count can usually double or triple with a proper outreach sequence. We've had a plumber go from 94 to 250 in just 2 weeks, and this shot them up again into the top 3. Now, once you've got a keyword in your business name and you have more reviews adding onto your profile, it's time to connect that with your page network. Factor 3, the page network. Pull up your business website on desktop. The first thing you want to count is the pages. The 5K version, it has 3 to 5 pages total. Home, services, about, maybe a contact us, maybe a blog. Google pretty much has no information about the fact that this listing is for a plumbing website, aside from talking about plumbing in the homepage. The 50K version has 30 to 60 plus pages and pages for every service combined with every suburb that they offer that service in. So think hot water heater replacement Frisco, burst pipe Plano, block drain Frisco. Each page targeted at a specific keyword that gets fewer than 10-20 searches but is hyper relevant to the suburb that a few users every month might be searching in. The reason this works so well is because the keyword plumber Dallas, even though it has thousands of monthly searches, has hundreds, if not thousands of plumbers, all saying on their listing and website they're a plumber in Dallas. However, we have searches that come from more nuanced keywords like hot water heater repair, hot water heater replacement. And a lot of them don't just come from the center of Dallas City, they come from surrounding suburbs. So if we build pages that talk specifically about that service in that suburb, whenever somebody from that suburb searches for that, Google is going to recommend that specific listing because it clearly talks about that area and that service, without all the competition that you get from Plumber Dallas. And if you stack 30, 60, 90 of those pages across all the suburbs you target, even though each search might have 10, 20 searches a month across 100 pages, you're going to get in front of hundreds of new potential customers. The 50K listing knows this, targets their pages, and now their website and their profile have the depth to get more calls in these specific areas. So if your website only has 5, 10, 30 pages, none of them specific to the service you offer in a suburb, you need to get to work. List out all the suburbs that you want to rank for. List out all the services you want more leads for. You might list 10 services and 20 locations, so then you have a possible 200 pages to roll out. Hiring a writer is too slow and can be too expensive. The math doesn't work out if your listing isn't doing $5,000 a month and more. Generic AI tools often produce slop that Google recognizes and will penalize, actively working against you. The version that we use is a content engine trained on top performing pages that we've written that have already ranked. We built a tool called Optimus that runs a 6-step framework on every page, and you can run the same exact thing. What you want to do to get a high-performing service and location page is have the target keyword in the meta title, meta description, the H1, the slug, and the primary keyword inside the first 100 characters in the body. Then you want to pull H2s directly from Google's People Also Ask for the service and title questions. So think about things like how much does a hot water cylinder replacement cost in Plano? How long does it take to repair a blocked drain in Plano? Things like that. You want to then begin to roll out pages at a regular schedule. Think anywhere between 2 to 10 pages a week. Now, if you don't have your own AI agent to go and automatically write and publish these pages for you, I've attached a prompt on screen now. Feel free to take a screenshot. This is the exact prompt that Optimus is trained on, and it is exactly what we use to write these high-performing service plus location pages. If you want to check if this is going to be needle driving, head over to Google and type site : and then put your domain. This is going to show you all of the index pages that Google has recognized from you. And if it's under 10 and your competitor has, 20, 30, 50, 40, you're going to need to get to work on some more pages. 50K listings understand this, and they will constantly be building out new long tail pages to strengthen how far their profile can actually rank. Now, once you've got a keyword in your business name, you've got reviews coming to the profile and more depth on your website to support that profile, it's time to dial that up and create even more consistency between the depth on your website and your Google business profile listing. This is exactly what 50K profiles do, and this is with website consistency. Open up your Google business profile and split it between 2 screens. Put your website on one and put your listing on the other. The 5K versus 50K split shows up the moment you scan both. The 5K version has a primary category for, say, a plumber as contractor or drainage contractor or gas fitter. It was picked once, maybe with an easier category to set up, and then it was forgotten about. It's not really consistent with plumbing. The service section on the 5K listing is completely empty. No one's filled out the actual services they offer, and no one's put descriptions on any of those services. There's no service areas listed to state where you actually service or what areas that profile can go to. There's no service description aside from basic company information, and there's no actual company photos on the profile to help show people and Google that it's a real local business that is professional, looks good, and does a good job. The 50K version has every single service listed on their website, also matched 1-for-1 on their profile, named the same way with very similar meta descriptions on the website as service descriptions on the Google business profile. The primary category is exactly what it should be, with plumber, their main service, and with secondary categories like drainage contractor and gas fitter to support their main category. Their service areas are listed in detail, talking about all of the primary suburbs that they want to service and they can actually go to. The profile's description uses the exact keywords they want to target and mentions the areas that they will go and work in, and has unique company information about why somebody should pick them. They capitalize on free real estate on the profile by adding in product thumbnails with custom designs for each of the services they offer. They put in photos that show branded and sign written company vehicles, the team in uniform, company events, and them going to customer jobs, and they regularly update and refresh them. This exactly matches their website in both services, quality of image, quality of description. The Google business profile reads like an exact copy of the same high quality service and location specific content that is on their website. Google then aligns the two and lifts them both up. The reason this is so important is because Google reads the profile and the website together as evidence about the same business. When the two agree, they've got the same services, they've got the same name listed, the same suburbs, similar descriptions, Google trusts both more. When they disagree and the profile category says drainage contractor, but the website is talking about emergency plumbing, Google's kind of got to decide what version is real. And while it's deciding, the listing is going to drop because it can't validate if they should serve this for a plumbing search. That's exactly what the 5K listing is doing. The drainage contractor versus plumber mismatch is the most common version of this. The trade that started doing drainage work, set the category once, then expanded into general plumbing without updating the profile. The website might have caught up with updating the homepage to include that primary keyword, but the profile didn't. So this local business is now competing for a plumber in that suburb with a profile that Google thinks is for drainage, not plumbing. The listing isn't going to move on the plumbing query because Google already filled it in the wrong category. The fix for these is pretty simple. Pull the website service list, get everything you have listed on the website, and pull the profile service list. Find everything that you have on the website that you don't have in the Google Business Profile and load all of them up. You want to literally get them side by side for every service on the website and add it to the profile. Then you want to find the meta description on that page and get it as closely related to that service description as you can. Write something detailed for every single service by copying and pasting this prompt now on screen into Claude. And once you've done that, set your primary category to the most specific term that Google has as a category. If the website is 80% plumbing content, you want to make sure that your category is plumber and not drainage contractor or even worse, contractor. Then you want to head over to the service areas and fill in your top 20 most valuable areas that you will regularly drive to and have high value jobs that are close to where your business is located. Not a generic Dallas. Fill in all of the specific suburbs you want working. Then you're going to want to move to the description. You can simply write one paragraph that reuses key phrases from your homepage. So talk about all of the suburbs you work in, how long you've been in business, why somebody should choose you, and some of your top services that you want to appear for when someone searches something like hot water heaters, block drains, or anything similar. These are simple edits that Google doesn't really need to verify, and they're usually live within 48 hours. The only catch is changing the category. If you make too many switches here or you make too drastic of a switch, it can put your profile back into re-verification. Now, once you've done this, you want to update your photos and your thumbnails. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this to get better rankings or to rank higher, but it is going to help you convert more of the leads that find your profile into actual calls and thus jobs. The reason for this is pretty simple. When somebody opens up a Google Business Profile and they see well-presented team members smiling in uniform with a company logo, a van or a truck that is sign written with good design logos, versus opening up and seeing dirty pipes, dug up block drains, or the sink of a toilet, they're not really going to be appealed to call somebody who just has random photos versus a company that is clearly putting effort into how they're presented and how they come across. People will associate this with better service and they will be more likely to call you. Once you've got complete consistency between your website and your listing and they back each other up, you're typically going to climb 1 or 2 extra positions. This isn't the biggest jump you can possibly make, but you give Google clarity on what it is you actually do between your website and your profile, and it stops having to think about and decide which version it should trust. Once you've done that, now you need to make sure Google can trust you even more with the offsite footprint. Type your business name into Google in quotes, exactly as it appears on the profile. So for example, ABC Plumbing Dallas. And look at how many results come back and where they appear. On the 5K profile, they're only going to get 6 to 8 results total. The Google Maps listing, the website, maybe a Yelp page or a yellow page they set up a while ago. All pretty obvious and well-known places. The business exists on the internet, only at digital storefronts the owner actually controls and set up themselves. The 50K version is going to get 30 to 50 results. The profile, the website, 20 to 30 directories, citations across major aggregators, 2 or 3 local sponsorships, a junior sports club, a school sponsor, a press release, a handful of mentions in third-party content, maybe a Reddit site, maybe asking for a recommendation, a local news story. Each one is a small piece of context that Google reads to decide how legit a business is in the market and if this business actually exists. Directory citations and third-party mentions are how Google validates if a business is real, operating in a city, or if it's just spam. The 5K listings have their profile and website, and that's it. Google doesn't really have any actual data to check if they're real, so it's going to read as low trust. 2 things have changed about this in the last 2 years that make it more important than it ever was. The first is that AI search is now a real traffic source for leads for local service businesses. But AI doesn't view things the same way that Google Maps does. AI looks across all of the internet to find how many times a business is mentioned to answer a query. If your business is only mentioned in 2 places, the website and the profile, versus a business that has 40 consistent mentions across the internet, Reddit, press releases, local sponsorship events, AI is going to recommend them more because it can find more information, it's easier to get it, and it's easier to show it to a user. The second is that consistency of those citations is becoming more important. Google's dealing with a ton of spam at the moment, fake listings, fake websites. There's even been an FTC lawsuit filed directly on this. So it's pushing more than ever to really validate that a business actually exists. So across all of your web mentions, you need to make sure that you have the same name, same address, and same phone number as what's displayed on your profile. So going back to step 1, if you've chosen a DBA name, let's say Apex Plumber Dallas, and all of your your citations say Apex Plumbing, that disconnect is going to derank you and make Google trust you less. 40 inconsistent citations are worth less than 15 completely perfect ones. Lock the DBA name in, build your citations around it, and get as many of them across the internet as you can. For most owners, doing this manually is going to be way too time consuming and quite frankly, not worth it. There are hundreds of directories, but really 30 to 50 of them are the most important. Think things like Yelp, Yellow Pages, Bing Places, Foursquare, Apple Maps, things that people actually visit and things that actually get indexed and shown by Google for industry-specific searches. You can normally buy a citation pack from services like BrightLocal or Whitespark for $100 to $200, and that's going to get you directly submitted in all of those 50 important locations. Usually takes about 5 to 7 days, and you're good to go. Once you've done that, you can head to platforms like Reddit or any other forums. You can look for things about both your industry and your city. Things about your city are probably going to work better than anything else. Think about Ask New York City or r/Sydney, for example. Any subreddit that's on your specific city is going to work fine. Don't just look for threads where you can just stuff a fake recommendation. Go into any threads relevant to your service about locksmith, about plumbing, about roofing, and reply with genuinely useful answers to their questions and build brand trust over time. You can naturally mention the business name in 1 or 2 of them, and this is going to work over time, but don't just spam promote your stuff everywhere. Reddit and their mods will remove them, and your account might even get banned or removed from that subreddit in worst case. Reddit threads often index in Google much quicker than anything else. They get retrieved by AI search, and they help your credibility a ton. Using the quotation mark search again, look for how many pages your top competitor is getting floated across with the quotation search. If they have 10, 20, 30, 50 listings mentioning them, and you only have 1 or 2, you're going to want to run the exact playbook that we mentioned above to get your listing from 5K to 50K. And that's it, 5 factors: name, reviews, pages, consistency, and your offsite footprint. Each one is a specific edit you can run on a stalled listing within a week. Run all 5 of these and the listing locks into the pin 3 for your primary keyword inside 60 to 90 days, and the phone is gonna start ringing every day from people who searched for exactly what you do and what you want more jobs in. The competitor you've watched beat you for years is either behind you or watching their lead count shrink every single week. And the math shifts from a 5K listing to a 50K one. Same trade, same crew, same vans. That's again a $45,000 a month revenue gap. And at the 20 to 30% net margin, that extra 10 to 15K in monthly net profit or 150 to 200K a year is going to be a game changer for growing and scaling your business. Now, if you're a local service business doing 30K a month or more and you'd rather have us run this entire playbook for you, there's a link in the description to book on a call with one of our team to give you the exact playbook that we would run for your specific industry and your specific location against what all your top competitors are doing and how we would rank you in the next 90 days. Book a call below. Otherwise, thank you for watching and good luck moving your listing from 5K to 50K.